okay, here's one where your textbook and I part ways. Your textbook overcomplicates this crazy. It's just, I don't get it. Dilution, page 101, when it's talking about mixing two different concentrations, it gets all wild and crazy with two different formulas and blah, blah, blah. Let's look at the basics. What I want to know is, out of each of these concentrations, how many moles is there? Because what I really want in the end is my total moles over my total volume. And that's going to give me my concentration of my new substance. So all I have to do is take the volume and the molarity, and I know that because of my handy dandy little triangle here, or I could follow the units, either way, molarity is moles over liters. So if I want to find my moles, I multiply my molarity times my liters. So really, to get the moles of this and the moles of this, which I would then add together to get my total moles, all I got to do is multiply them together. Now, you can change them to liters if you want to, or you can leave them in milliliters. As long as you do it consistently throughout the question, it'll work out in the end. I'm a little bit OCD about it, and I like to put it into liters, so I usually do that. But either way, for you guys, I'll just run this the way it is. All I have to do is go, okay, I want my moles, so 300 times 0.25 is going to give me, use my little calculator, 300 times 0.25, 75. So this tells me I have 75 moles. See, this is why I don't like to do that, because that's not true. But we're going to divide it by milliliters in the end, so it's going to fix everything anyway. So I'm going to use the same pattern over here. I'm going to go 500 times 0.1, and that's going to give me 50 moles. Now, if I add these guys up, then my total is going to be 125 moles. And here's where it's going to get fixed, because if I add up 300 and 500, I get 800 milliliters as my total volume. So 800 goes here, and since it's milliliters, it's just going to solve my little issue. So I go 125 divided by 800, and I get 0.156 moles per liter. Moles per liter, so moles over volume. And that's a reasonable answer. I had 0.250 here, I had 0.1 here, pardon me, for the molarities. So if I'm mixing a molarity of 0.1 and a molarity of 0.25, I should get a molarity that's somewhere between those two. So you can even check and make sure that your answer is reasonable. So just to recap, if you're mixing two different concentrations, find the moles of one, find the moles of the other, add those together to get your total moles, and it's pretty easy to get your total volume because you just add the volumes together. Then you divide those because you've got moles over volume, and you're going to get your answer. Little caveat, if you want reasonable looking numbers all the way through, you would change these into liters, all of them. But as long as you keep them the same, it works out in the end anyway.